Hello guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to do the paper May-June 2020 of paper 2-3 of IGCSE. Now let's move on to question number 1. So part 1, we have to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of the line joining the points this and this. So first we have to understand what are we looking for. Let's say this point is right here and this point is right here. So we have a line joining those 2 points, right? And we're trying to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of this line. Now this line, it cuts the curve at, cuts this line at 90 degrees and goes to the midpoint of this line. Now to find the equation of a line, you need to have the gradient of the line, right? Now let's call this line L and this line P. So to find the equation of P, we first have to know the gradient of P. Now to find the gradient of P, we first need to find the gradient of L. So let's do that. So we have 9 minus 7 over minus 8 minus 4. That will be 16 over minus 12. That will be minus 4 over 3. Now if we know the gradient of L is this, it will be gradient of P should be 3 over 4. Okay, that is the first thing to find. Now next step is, what is this passing point that this line go through? It will be the midpoint of these 2 points. So passing point M is the midpoint of the line L. So to find this, we can use these 2 points again. So x1 plus x2. So 4 minus 8 will be minus 4 divided by 2. Minus 7 minus this should be plus. That should be minus 2 actually over 2. That will give you minus 2, 1. This is x and y. Now the equation will be, you take this point, you have y minus 1 over x minus 2 become plus 2 is equal to 3 over 4. Now next step is to cross multiply. You will have 4y minus 4 is equal to 3x. That will be plus 6. So 4y is equal to 3x plus 10. And that will be your answer for the equation of this line P, right? This perpendicular bisector of this line. That will be your answer. Now for part 2, find the set of values of k for which it has no roots. So when you see no real roots, it means that we know that b squared minus 4ac have to be less than 0. Now if you observe, this one is a quadratic equation. This is a, this is b, and this is c. So let's replace back in this equation. Let's see what do we have. So b squared will be minus 4k squared minus 4 times a times c is equal to 0. So we have to use that, right? Less than 0. Let's expand and see what happens. So you will have 16k squared. That will be 16, right? So minus 16 times 2 will be minus 32k, and minus 48 is less than 0. Now we can simplify this. If you divide by 16 everywhere, that should give you k squared minus 2k minus 3 is less than 0. So now we have this equation, but first we have to find the critical values. So critical values is equal to, you take the same equation, but instead of less than, you have to equate to 0. Now let's solve this to find the values of k where this is true. So we factorize. So we have k times k, and 3 is 3 times 1, right? To get minus 2, it has to be minus 3 plus 1. So k is equal to minus 1, k is equal to 3. Now using those two values, we can find the set of values where this is true. So by observation, this is 1, which is a positive number. So the curve will look like this, a minimum curve. Now these 2 points, this will be minus 1, this will be 3, and this is your line 0. Now as you can see, we need this to be less than 0. So less means below this line, and it is only here that it is less than 0. So in that case, your value of k can only be between -1 and 3 for the curve to be below 0, is that what we need, this one, below 0. So that will be your answer for part 2. Okay, so let's move on to question number 3a. So on the axis below, sketch the graph of y equal to this expression, showing the coordinates of the point where the graph meets the axis. So basically we have to know where it meets the x and the y-axis. So let's say at the y-axis, as you guys know, x equal to 0. So what is the value of y? Y will be equal to, we have minus here, that will be 2 times -1 times -6. Let's see what that gives you. So -2 times -1 times -6, that should be -12. So here we have a point of x 0 and y equal to -12. Now let's see at the x-axis we have, what do we have? Y is equal to 0. So let's find the corresponding values of x. So we have this plus 2 times x -1 times x -6 is equal to 0. So x is equal to -2, 1, and 6. So here we have 3 points on the x-axis. Now let's first note down those 3 points. Okay, so we have what? We have, we have -2. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For example, right? It doesn't need to be exact, it's only a sketch, so you can make your own scale if you want to. So this is -2, that will be -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have points at -2, 1, 6. So let's see, -2, 1, and 6. These 3 points. And now the thing we need to know when we have to draw a cubic curve is we want to know what are the values in between, right? What happened? Does it go up? Does it go down? We don't know yet. So we have to find the midpoint of first these two intervals. So we have to add -2 plus 1 divided by 2 for the midpoint. It will be -0.5. So let's find that. This will be right here. -0.5. Let's see what is the value of y. So replace back in your equation. Let me write this down here. For x equal to -0.5. So what is the value of y? That will be minus outside, you have -0.5 plus 2 times -0.5 minus 1. Then we have times -0.5 minus 6. That should be -14.625. Okay. So here we have found that when this is equal to -0.5, the value of y is -14. It goes down this one, right? Now how about for this one? So for this interval from 1 to 6, what is the midpoint? So 1 plus 6 divided by 2, 3.5 will be about here. So when x is equal to 3.5, what is the value of y? So let's replace and see. We have -3.5 plus 2, 3.5 minus 1, 3.5 minus 6. That will be 34.375. Okay, that is the value of y. It goes up when it is between these two intervals. So now let's plot this down on your graph. So first point we can show is that on the y-axis, as we have seen here, it is 0 minus 12. We can draw the approximation. Let's say 12 will be around here. So 0 minus 12. Let's mark this down as -12, so they know that you have seen, you have found the point. Okay. Now next one is you can this one is -0.5. You say that was about 14 something. So let's mark a point here. Now for this one, 3.5, that will be 34 something. Let's go ahead and let's say, for example, it's really up here, and we just have to make a point here and mark this down about 35, for example. So it's only an approximation, so you can play with your scale. Okay. Now we just have to join the points. So this is your max point. Okay, this is your minimum point. Okay, this will be this. this, and then this will join with this, and this will join with this. Okay, as you can see, this is your graph that you will get in this shape. Of course, you're going to use a pencil and make it as smooth as possible to show this graph. And don't forget to label this as y equal to minus x plus 2, x minus 1, and x minus 6. That will be your graph of y. Now next step is to solve this question. Hence means using your graph to solve this question. So we have to see that where is this graph. This is y is less than or equal to 0. So let's observe. From your curve, you can see that this is your line of 0, where it is below 0. It is below 0 between this and this, right? So your answer will be between x is between minus 2 and 1, and when x is more than 6, right? This and this is below 0. And that will be your question number 3. Move on to question number 4. So how many different digits, 5-digit numbers, can be formed using 5 of the 8 digits in this one if each digit can only be used once? So as always, I like to draw 5 places for my selections, right? So for the first one, I can choose anything. So I have 8 choices. So let's say I choose this one. I'll put 1 here. That goes away. So then for this one, I have 7 choice, 6 choice, 5, and 4 choice. So multiply, you'll have your number of selection. That will be 6720. That is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, how many of these 5-digit numbers are bigger than 60,000? Okay, so let's try that. So we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, for it to be bigger than 60,000, you can only start with 6, 7, or 8, right? I hope that makes sense, right? Again, going back to the basics, draw your 5 place for your 5-digit number. Now, we have to start with one of those 3 numbers for it to be bigger than this. So we only have 3 choice of starting your number. Let's say I choose 6, I'll put 6 here. Now for this one, I can choose anything, right? I can choose anything. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 choice. Let's say I choose 1. Then I will have 6 choice. Let's say I choose 2. 5 choice. Let's say I choose this one, right? And then I have 4 choice. So we just have to multiply them to find the number of different, how many numbers we have. So 3 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4. That should be 25, 20. Okay, that will be for part 2. Now for part B, a team of 3 people is to be selected from 4 men and 5 women. So in total we have 9 people, okay? Find the number of different teams that could be selected if it must include at least 2 women. At least means more or equal to 2 women. So let's see what is the possible selection. So we only need 3 people. So we need 3 people in each team. So one way is we can have 1 man and 2 women, or we can have 0 men or 3 women. Those are only the 2 selection possible. So for the first one, from the 4 men we choose 1, and from the 5 men we choose 2. And for this one, from the 4 men we choose 0, and times from the 5 men we choose 3. So let's see what's possible. That will be 40, and this one will be 4 choose 0 times 5 choose 3. That will be 10. I have to add them. That should be 50 teams possible. And that will be your question number 4. Now let's move on to question number 5. Do not use a calculator in this question. So simplify. You have to show all your steps for your marks. So pretty easy. You first have to combine them, not combine, but like express this one as this. You'll have 128 over 72. Now we have a fraction inside. We can simplify this fraction to see what can be done. Divide by 2, you will have 64 you will have 36. Divide by 4, you will have 16, and you will have 9. So replace back, you will have a square root of 16 over 9 is equal to 16, 9, which is 4 over 3 as your answer for part A. Now for part B, we have to simplify this, giving your answer as a fraction with an integer denominator. So the first step, as you can see, it is a two fraction with different bases, so we have to find the LCM. In this case, LCM is found by multiplying them by each other. And then we have to cross multiply. So this time this will be the same thing, and then minus root 3 times 1 plus root 3. So let's simplify and see what happens. So this one will give you what? So 1 plus root 3 should give you root 3 plus 3. Okay? And if you simplify this, so you have 3 plus 2 root 3 minus root 3 minus 3. This one cancel out, and this one should give you root 3 for your top. So this top here becomes root 3. How about the base? Let's see what happens with this expansion. So you have 1 times this, you have the same thing, plus 3 root 3 plus 2 times 3. That will be 9 plus this. That's the base of this. So this becomes 9 plus 5 root 3. Now let's write this down. So for now we have root 3 on top, and this is 9 plus 5 root 3. Now, so we have to simplify this again, because we need to have an integer in the denominator. So what else can we do? We have to multiply by this conjugate, 9 minus 5 root 3. 9 minus 5 root 3. Okay, so one by one, the top will become what? So multiply by this, you will have 9 root 3 minus 5 times 3. Divide by this should be 9 squared minus 15 times 3. Sorry, it's 25. 5 times 5 is 25. So just to explain this, if you guys didn't see that yet, when you have to multiply the conjugate by each other, as you can see, you will get 9 squared minus 5 root 3 squared. 9 squared is 81 minus 25 times 3. That should give you 81 times 25 times 3. That should be 6. The base will be 6. So simplify to, this should be 9 root 3 minus 15 over 6. And that will be your answer for part B. But now if you want to simplify more, you can always divide by 3 everywhere. So divide by 3 everywhere, you will have 3 root 3 minus 5 over 2. Okay, this can be your answer for part B, and that is your question number 5. Now let's move on to question number 6. The curve y is equal to a sine bx plus c has a period of 180, amplitude of 20, and passes to the points this. Find the value of a, b, c, and d. So first value we can find is a. A is simply your amplitude, which is equal to 20. Now next one we can find is the value of b. So how do you find b? You have to look at the period. The period t is given by 180 degrees. But how do you find t? You find t by taking 360 divide by b, that is your value of t is equal to 180. So from this you have b is equal to 2. So if you solve this for b, you will get 2. Okay. Now to find the value of c, we have to use these two values, right? C. That will be y is what? So we have the equation y is equal to a is 20 sine 2x plus c. That will be x, y. Y is minus 3. 20 sine 180 plus c. So what is sine of 180? That is 0. So this thing becomes 0. So c is equal to minus 3. So finally, your equation is y is equal to a is 20 sine of 2x minus 3. Well, your value of a is 20, value of b is 2, and the value of c will be minus 3. That is part 1 of this question. Now part 2, the function g is defined for this domain from minus 135 to 135. Given that g is defined by this equation, this expression, sketch the graph of g on the axis below, stating the coordinates of the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So let's see that. As you guys know already, at y-axis you would say the value of x is equal to 0. So you will have g of 0 is equal to 3 tan of 0 minus 4, that should be minus 4. So at y-axis the point will be 0 minus 4. So we just need a sketch. So let's see approximately where would I put that. Let me just put that 1, 2 over here. Minus 4. But as you can see here as well, here we have minus 4. Minus 4 is your baseline, so we have to draw a line here. The baseline is a line that cuts the graph exactly in half, you know. So that is, just draw a line to be your baseline at y equal to minus 4. Now let's find the, this is the number of cycles we have for 180 degrees. We have half of a cycle. Half, you can see this number is half right here. So this is what it means. Now let's say if you guys don't know how to draw this, for tan curve always looks something like this, right? It has a asymptotes. This is for like more cycles, right? Now let's see for each of the values, what do we get? If you don't know what to do, always make a table of values so we can plot and see what happens. So x can be minus 135, and what is this value? Should be minus 90, minus 45, 0. Let's see what do we get here for the value of g. So 3 10 of minus 135 divided by 2 minus 4 minus 11.2. Now for this one, minus 90, so 3 10 of minus 90 divided by 2 minus 4 minus 7. Now we have 3 10 of minus 45 divided by 2 minus 4 minus 5.2 something, and for 0 that should be 3 10 of 0 minus 4. So that is the values for this side. And how about this side? Here's how we have 0, we have 45, 90, and 13. So 135. What is the value of g? So same thing. You should get the values here. So 3 10 of 0. So same thing here, minus 4. How about this one? 45. So 3 10 of 45 divided by 2 minus 4 should be minus, so minus 2.75. okay, and this one should be 3 10 of 45 minus 4 minus 1, and finally 135. 3 10 of 135 divided by 2 minus 4. So just do a table of values and find their corresponding values. As you can see, for those values we don't have any asymptotes because we have values that we have found for each point at each line. If it was an asymptote, the value will be invalid. Okay, so at least we have those values. We can plot and see where can that be. So for the first one, let's say approximately, it is minus 135 will be minus 11.2, sorry. So let's find a point which is approximately that value. That is 4, that should be 8, let's say it is about here, for example. Okay, and now for this one, minus 90 should be minus 7. Minus 7 should be, this is 8, this should be about here. And now for minus 45 should be 5.2. So this is 4, this is 5.2, should be about here. Okay, so as you can see, we have this. Should be the same thing on this side. So let's try. On this side we have 0 is done. So we have 45 will be minus 2.7. So 45 is this one. So this is minus 2.7, should be about here. Then next one is 90 or minus 1. Minus 1 should be right here. Then I have 3.24. 3.24 for this value, so should be about, this is 2. 3.24 should be about here. Okay, so as you can see, we have a few points here. We have this and this. So by joining this, you could find your graph. So let's do that. Okay, should be something like this. Okay, that will be a graph of g of x is equal to 3 tan of x over 2 minus 4. So if you guys don't know what to do, always go back to your table of values and plot them to see the shape of the graph. That will be your answer, part B of question number 6. Now question number 7, variables x and y are connected by this relationship. Now we have to transform this into a straight line form. Pretty easy. Whenever you see a power on top, you can use ln. So use ln y and ln a on both sides, right? Now we can break this one down. You will have ln y is equal to ln a plus ln x n. Now we can simplify. Ln y is equal to ln a. So now you see the power here, we can send this to the front. You will have plus n ln x. Now last step, ln y is equal to ln x times n plus ln a. So that will be your straight line form, because if you look at this, it resembles a lot y equal to m x is this one, sorry, plus c. So let me, okay, I'm not going to confuse you. Let me write this down again. So you have ln y is equal to n ln x plus ln a. This is basically y is equal to m x plus c, where m is the gradient and this one is your y-intercept. So this will be your answer for part A. Now for this one is, when ln y is plotted against ln x, a straight line graph is obtained through the points this and this. So part 1 is find the value of n and a. So pretty easy. Since we have 2 points, we can find the value of the gradient, which is n. So m, which is the gradient, equal to n. We can find this by using our formula, y2 minus y1, so 1.7 minus 0.5 divided by x2 minus x1. Let's see, what do we get? 1.7 minus 0.5 divided by 3.2. That should be 0.375. So first part, your value of n is 0.375. Now what is the value of a? To find the value of a, we have to find the intercept, right? So using your equation of ln y equal to n, we know it is 0.375 ln x plus ln a. Now using one of those points, using 0 and 0.5, this first one should be ln x and this one is ln y. So usually we have x and y. This is for normal line, for a line of y against x, we have x and y, but here we have ln y against ln x, so this will be ln x and ln y. Okay, now replace back in your equation. You will have that will be 0.5 is equal to times 0 plus ln a. So ln a is equal to 0.5, so a will be exponential 0.5. So this is your value of a, and this is your value of n. That is for part B. Now for part C, find the value of y when x equal to this. So now we have your equation. You can easily find the value of y. So we have ln y is equal to 0.375 ln x. ln a is equal to 0.5. Replace x equal to 11. Replace, you will have 11 plus 0.5. So we have to find the value of y. So first find ln y. 0.375 times ln 11 plus 0.5. That should be 1.399. Y will be exponential of 1.399. That will be 4.05 for your value of y. Correct to 3SF. So that is your answer for part C. And that was question number 7. Okay, so let's move on to question number 8. Part A, we have to differentiate this with respect to x. So pretty easy. dy by dx. Now differentiate tan should give you sec square. Here we have x plus 4. We have to multiply by the differentiation of the inside is only 1. Now minus 3 cos x. So your answer is sec square x plus 4 minus 3 cos x. That is for part 1. Now for part B, variables x and y are such that we have this equation. Now using differentiation to find the approximate change in y as x increases from this value to this value. So the formula is approximate change in y is equal to dy by dx at the value of x equal to 1 times this value of h. So we have to find this. So let's find dy by dx. As you have observed, this one is a fraction, so we have to use your quotient rule, right? So first thing, we write the base. You have 2 exponential 3x times dy by dx of the top. That will be 1 over 2x plus 5 times 2. And this 2 minus the top. Now you write the same times dy by dx of this should give you 6 exponential 3x. And everything divided by the square of the base. That should be 4 exponential 6x. Okay, so square the base will be 2 square. That should be 2 power 2 is 4. And 3 times 2 should be 6. That's why we get this, okay? Now we have to simplify this. Let's see what we have. So here we have 2 times 2 is 4 exponential 3x over 2x plus 5 minus 6 exponential power 3x ln 2x plus 5. Everything divided by 4 exponential 6x. So now we have to find dy by dx at the value of x equal to 1. So we just have to replace the value of x by 1 in this equation. So let's do that. So dy by dx when x equal to 1. What is that? So 4 times exponential power 3. That will be 7 minus exponential power 3 ln 1 7 divided by 4 exponential power 6. So let's see what do we have here. So our exponential power 3, we have to use that. So 4 over 7. So that's 4 times answer divided by 7 minus 6 answer ln 7. That's the top. Will give you this value. divided by 4 times exponential power 6. That will be minus 0.138, correct to 3SF. So finally, approximate change in y is equal to this value, 0.138 times h. So let's double check if that is correct, because sometimes you can make mistakes using those values. So let's see if that is correct or not. So 4 times exponential power 3 divided by 7 minus 6 exponential power 3 times ln 7. This value divided by 4 exponential power 6. Okay, that seems to be okay. So this will be your answer for the approximate change in y when x increases from this to this. Okay, that will be question number 8. Now let's move on to question number 9. So do not use a calculator in this question. So what it means is that you have to show all the steps what you use to reach to your answer. Okay, so let's do that. Find the term independent of x in the binomial expansion of this. So as you know, when you have to expand this, the first term is 6, choose something, and you have 3x here, and we have minus 1 over x. Now for x to cancel out each other, it has to be the same powers of x and x here. So we have 6 divided by 2 is 3, so we have to have 3 and 3. So 3 will be here, okay? So in that case, you will have 6 choose 3. That will be 27 x cubed times minus 1 over x cubed. Now, as you can see, the x cubed will of course cancel out, so that will be a term independent of x. Now, how would you show the expansion of this one, of this 6 choose 3, right? As you have seen here, we have this one. So 6 choose 3 will be what? Let's write this down. So your formula here is n choose r is given by n factorial over n minus r factorial, So same way, 6 choose 3 will be 6 factorial over 3 factorial times 3 factorial. Now let's simplify. This will be 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial divided by 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So this will cancel out with this. And now what is 3 factorial? 3 factorial is equal to 3 times 2 times 1, which is 6. So 6 goes away. You will have 20 remaining. So 6 choose 3, that should be 20 times 27, which will be 540. Has minus here, has to be minus 540. Okay, so your answer is minus 540 will be the term independent of x. So you have to show your working of how you found your answer, because we do not use a calculator in this question. Okay, now for part B, in the expansion of this binomial expansion, the coefficient of x power 4 is half the coefficient of x power 6. So we have to first find the coefficient of this one, and then find this one, and use this half to find the value of n. So let's do one by one. So what is the coefficient of x power 4? You would say, to find this term, we have to first do n, choose something of the first term, and then x over 2. Now for x to be power 4, we have to have power 4 here. If this is 4, this has to be 4, and this has to be n minus 4. Okay, now if you simplify anything power, so 1 power anything is still 1, so we don't care about this one. That will be n choose 4 times x power 4 over 2 power 4. What is 2 power 4? That is 16. Okay, so we have n choose 4 over 16 times x power 4. So this will be your coefficient of x power 4. That is the first step. Now for this one, coefficient of x power 6. N choose, so has to be 1 here, x power 2. So for it to be power 6, we have to have 6 here. This will be 6, and this will be n minus 6. N choose 6 times, this will be 1, so we don't care about this one. It will be x power 6 over, what is 2 power 6? That should be 64. Yep, 64, I was right. Now we simplify, so n choose 6 over 64 x power 6. So this will be the coefficient of x power 4, and this is the coefficient of x power 6. So now we have to use this information that we have been provided to find the value of n. So it says that this one, So n choose 4 over 16 is equal to half of n choose 6 over 64. That's what is given here. Now we can simplify. So you can try to divide by 16. That will be 1. 16, that will be 4, right? And for this one, we can try to replace. So as we know, from here, right? So n choose 4 is what? It is n factorial over n minus 4 factorial and 4 factorial. And what is this one? N choose 6. That should be n factorial over n minus 6 factorial times 6 factorial. Now we can replace this back in your equation to see what happens, right? This we have 2 times 4 is 8. So here we have what? N choose 6 over 8. Okay. So we can try to simplify. We can cross multiply if you want to. So we will have 8 n choose 4 is equal to n choose 6. Now replace this one by this expansion. You will have 8 times n choose 4 is n factorial over n minus 4 factorial times 4 factorial equal to, this one is n factorial over n minus 6 factorial and 6 factorial. Now as you can see, these two will cancel out. And what is this and this? So as you have seen, we can expand if you want to. So 6 factorial is, we can write this down as this, okay? You have 6 factorial is equal to 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. Now if you cancelled this, so that you will have this remaining, which is 30. Okay, so now what else can we do? We can take 30 to here and take this one to here. You will have 8 times 30 is equal to n minus 4 factorial over n minus 6 factorial. That will be the next step. Now, how do you simplify this? Now, if you observe, if you know that n factorial is what? It is n times n minus 1 factorial. Now, if you want to expand this more, it can be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 factorial. So it keeps going on, right? For example, here, you would say, what is n minus 4 factorial? You would say, it is n minus 4 times n minus 5 times n minus 6 factorial. So we can replace this here by this one. N minus 4, n minus 5, and n minus 6 factorial over n minus 6 factorial. So these two will cancel out. Now you will have, so 240 is equal to n minus 4 times n minus 5. Now let's expand this to see what happens. So we have n squared minus 5n minus 4n plus 20. That is equal to n squared minus 9n plus 20. Okay. Now for those, we can replace back. You will have 240 is equal to n squared minus 9n plus 20. Now bring everything to one side. You will have n squared minus 9n plus 20 minus 240. That will be minus 220 is equal to 0. Now we can factorize. N squared is n times n, and this will be 11 times 20. So 220 is 11 times 20. So we'll put 20 here, we put 11. Now for us to get minus 9, we have to have minus 20 plus 11. So n is equal to minus 11, n is equal to 20. Now the question asks for the positive value of n, so n can only be plus 20. So that will be your answer for this question. And that will be your question number 9. So solve this equation. So as you can see here, we have sec square a and we have tan. So we have to use this ID that is given to us, this one, to solve this. So let's write this down. We know that sec square a is equal to 1 plus tan square a. So replace, you will see 5 times 1 plus tan square a plus 14 tan a minus 8 is equal to 0. Now you expand, you have 5 plus 5 tan square a plus 14 tan a minus 8 is equal to 0. Now we have to simplify again. 5 minus 8 is minus 3. So you have 5 tan square a plus 14 tan a minus 3 is equal to 0. Now we have to solve this equation. So factorize. You have 5 tan a and you have tan a. So 3 is 3 times 1. To get plus 14 has to be plus 15 minus 1. So tan a is equal to 1 over 5, or tan a is equal to minus 3. Now when tan is positive, it has to be in your first quadrant and in your third quadrant. So first is just this value, and this is 180 plus this value. So let's find the value of theta will be tan inverse of the positive value of 1 over 5. So here we have to use degrees. Tan inverse of 1 over 5, that should be 11.3. So the value of a will be what? So first value is theta, which is 11.3, and we have 180 plus that, so plus 180 should be 191.3. Okay, that is for now. Now for this one, when tan is negative, it will be in your second quadrant and in your fourth quadrant. This is 180 minus theta, and this is 360 minus theta. So first let's find the value of theta. Theta is tan inverse of the positive value of 3. So tan inverse of 3 should be 71.6. Now the value of a is equal to what? So first one is 180 minus this, minus 71.6. That should be 108.4, and it can be 360 minus 71.6, 288.4. So now you can see that a is only between this and this, so this one will be outside and this one will be outside. So only two values of a is good, which is this and 108.4. That will be your question, part A. So now let's move on to part B of this question, number 10. So we have to solve this. So first step is to always make sine the subject of formula. So sine of 4b minus pi by 8 is equal to minus 2 over 5. Now when sine is negative, you know that it will be in your third quadrant and in your fourth quadrant. Third is just pi plus theta, and this will be 2 pi minus theta. Okay, now we have to find the value of theta. Theta is what? Theta is the sine inverse of the positive value of this. So let's see what we get. 2 divided by 5, that should be 0.412. We can write a few decimals, 0.4115. Okay, let's write this down as this, no problem. Now to find the value of the angle inside, so 4b minus pi by 8, it is equal to, first one is pi plus theta. Pi is pi plus theta, that should be 3.553, and then 2 pi minus theta, 0.4115, that should be 5.8716. So for now we're just writing many decimal places, but in the end you have to provide your answer correct to 3SF. Okay, now since you can see that b is also on the negative side, we have to find the negative parts for this answer. So we have to minus 2 pi and 2 pi to each of them. So 3.553 minus 2 pi, that should be minus 2.730. Then we have 5.8716 minus 2 pi. That will be, minus, not divide. 16 minus 2 pi. That should be minus 0.41158. Now let's find the value of b. So b will be what? b will be this plus this divided by 4, right? So 3.553 plus pi over 8 and then divide by 4. That should be 0.986. That's the first value. 5.716 plus pi by 8 divided by 4. That should be 1.57. Then we have minus 2.730 plus pi over 8 divided by 4 minus 0.584. And then we have minus 0.41158 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. That should be minus 0.0047. Yep, as you can see here. Okay, so that will be the possible answers for your question. But here we have B is between this and this. So let's find out. That will be minus pi over 4 is what? This minus 0.785 to 0.785. So our answers need to be between that domain. So let's see, this one is outside, this one is outside, this one is in, this one is in. So we have two answers. B can be minus 0.584 and minus 0.0047. So let's check if that is correct to make sure. Minus 0.41158 plus pi over 8 divided by 4. Okay, so have to be 3SF, of course, 3SF. So 3SF should be this value. Okay, so this is the values of B for which this is true. Now that will be your question number 10. Let's move on to question number 11. In this question, all the length are in centimeters. The volume V of the cone of height h, as you can see, this is of height h, is given by this formula. Okay, that's the first thing we need to know. Now the next thing is, the diagram shows a large hollow cone from which a smaller cone of height 180 and the base radius of 90, so 90, has been removed. The remainder has been fitted with a circular base of radius 90 to form a container for the water. The depth of the water in the container is W. So this is W for the water. Okay, so basically this is the water that is inside of this cone, and the surface of the water is a radius of radius r, a circle of radius r. So this is the surface of the water. So I think in your question this part must be shaded. You will see this is your water that we have. Okay, now for part A, we have find an expression for R in terms of W, and by finding that, show that the volume of the water in the container is this. So first is find R in terms of W. W is this. So how can you find R in terms of this? So you have to use similarity, because as you can see, this small cone is similar to this big cone, right? This big cone. So we have two cones here. We have this big cone and this small cone. So this cone is a small cone and this one is the bigger cone. So these two cones are similar. So because of that, we can use similarity. So express R in terms of W. So first let's compare the sides. So what is the height of the big cone? The height will be 180 plus W. That's the height of the big cone, right? So now we can compare. So this side is a small one, say 90, over R is equal to this height, which is 180, over this big one. Okay, so by using this, we can express R in terms of W. So let's do that. So right now we have this. We can cross multiply. You will have 90 times 180 plus W is equal to 180 R. Now let's expand. You will have what? Well, we can just divide first. Divide by 90 on both sides. That will be 1. That will be 2. R will be 90 plus W over 2. That is your first expression of W in terms of R. So now we have to find the volume of water in the container. Just to find the volume, as you can see, we have to first find the volume of the big cone minus volume of the small cone to find the volume of water. So let's do that. Volume of big cone is the same formula, so 1/3 pi r square is big R square times h. The height is 180 plus W. Now the volume of the small cone is 1/3 pi. The small r is 90 square times the height is 180. So we can just simplify. So let's first simplify this, right? So volume of big one is 1/3 pi. We can just factorize this for now outside. You will have r square is what? R square is this one square times 180 plus W minus this small one to find the volume of water. Now let's see what we get here and here. So this will be 1, this will be 60. 90 square times 60, that should be 486,000 pi. So for this one we have this, and how about this one? So let's do the expansion. So we have to show it equals to this. So if you observe, what can we have here? So if you divide by 2, let's do that, right? Because we can also express, because we have to, sorry, not divide by 2, because we have to express this, so this in terms of this, as you have observed. So what can you do to make that possible? You have to take out this denominator. So for example, let's say I have 90 plus W over 2. Now I can write this as 180 plus W over 2, right? Now when I have square, it is square, right? Square. If I were to expand this, what you will get? You will get 180 plus W square divided by 2 square, which is 4. So same way, this is equal to 1 over 3 pi 180 plus W square divided by 4 times 180 plus W. Now this is the same, as you can see. You can just factorize, and this one you can just take it out. You will have 1 over 12 pi and 180 plus W power 3 minus 1, 2, 3, and that will be shown as required. That will be your volume of water given by this. Now for part B, water is poured into the container at the rate of this. So dV by dt has been given to you by this, 10,000. Okay, find the rate at which the depth of the water is increasing. The depth is given to you by W, so dy, so dW by dt at W equal to 10. So we have to find this. So how do you find dW by dt? It is equal to, on top we have dW, so write this down, times something, right? So this is dt on the bottom. So what connects these two? As you can see, we have V here, the water. So V is the volume, so dV and dV. Okay, so this we know already. This is 10,000. We have to find this one, right? So how do you find this one? As you have seen previously, we have the value of V is given by 1 over 12 plus W minus 0.6123 pi. So we have to find dV by dW. That will be, so multiplied by 3, that will be 1 over 4 pi 180 plus W power 2 minus, this will become 0. So here you have pi over 4 times this. But now you have to find the value of this when it is equal to, when W is equal to 10. So let's do that. W is equal to 10. dV by dW should be what? Pi by 4, 180 plus 10 power 2. So 180 plus 10 power 2, power 2, divided by 4, that should be 9025 pi. Now we have this, but the question is asking for this, right? dw over v. So dw over v, dv, it is just 1 divided by this. So finally, replacing this one back to the equation, you will have dw over dt is equal to 1 over 9025 pi times 10,000. Okay, so 9025 pi 1 divided by answer times 10,000 should be about 0.353. That is correct to 3SF for the range of change of the depth compared to the time, so centimeter per second. That is your question number 11. Now let's move on to question number 12. So given that f of x is equal to this function, find this one. So pretty easy, we can just rewrite this down as f of x is equal to cos of power minus 1x. Now from this we can find d by dx, right? So f prime of x is d by dx is equal to, first thing we have to multiply the power, has to be minus 1. Then you have cos, you have to minus 1 on the power minus 2x. Then multiply by the differentiation of the inside will give you minus sin x. That will be sin x over cos square x, which is sin x over cos x times 1 over cos x. That will be tan x and sec x. That is shown as required. Now for part 2, hence find the integration of this one. So we have to use this to find this. So basically what we have shown here is that if you were to integrate this one, sec x dx, it is supposed to give you back the same thing, 1 over cos x. So same thing, let's use that to find this. Now first let's expand this. You will have 3 tan x sec x minus, what is this one? So this is, we can write this down as the same on the inside, multiply, so the power will be 1 over 4, which is exponential this. Okay, now let's solve this. So as we have seen, we can take out the 3 outside. You will have tan x and sec x minus this one is, so for integrating this one, we have to write down the same thing first and then divide by the differentiation of this one. So d by dx of 3 over 4x is just 3 over 4. So divide by that. And for this one, as you have seen, we have the answer here, 1 over cos. That will be 3 over cos x minus 3 over 4 exponential this. And of course, plus c for your constant of integration. That will be your answer for part A of this question. Now let's move on to part B of the question number 12. Given that we have this integration, find the value of p. So first thing we can do is we can take out the value of p, integrate from 5 to 1 over px plus 10. That will be basically ln of px plus 10. P is outside, and you have to divide by the value of p. So just to explain, how do you integrate something like, let's say I have 2 over 2x plus 10. So that will be, you would say, okay, 2 is just the multiple. I can leave 2 outside. Then I have to integrate this one, has to be ln of 2x plus 10. Then I have to divide by the differentiation of the inside, have to divide by 2. So these two will cancel out. You will have ln 2x plus 10. So same way, this will give you, cancel out, you will have ln px plus 10 between the limits of 5 and 2. So let's solve that. So you will have what? So 5 will be ln 5x plus 10 minus ln 2x plus 10. That is supposed to give you ln 2. Okay, so now let's simplify. You will have ln, so when you have minus, you can just divide. So 5x plus 10, not x, sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be p, because when you replace this in x, has to be p. So 5p plus 10 divided by 2p plus 10 is supposed to give you ln 2. So now since we have ln on both sides, we can cancel out. Now let's do that. You will have to cross multiply. That is 5p plus 10 equal to 4p plus 20. So we can send everything to one side. So 5p minus 4p will be 20 minus 10. That should be p is equal to 10. So the positive value of p will be the value of 10. So that is your last question of this paper. That is question number 12. Okay, so as always, thank you for watching till the end, and I hope that was somewhat helpful. If you guys have any questions, any requests, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. And of course, thank you guys for supporting this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And as always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.